under them of things that you need to do to make sure you succeed in that goal, and then break it down each day. And what I definitely suggest is you plan a Sunday. So you take a half an hour out every Sunday to set your plan in place. That way, when you come to working at the beginning of the week, you'll know exactly what you've got to do and what you've got to get done. If you need to, there's a daily performance planner in the resources section, which talks about power hours, talks about hydration. It's basically like a checklist, turning notifications off on your phone and just checking emails a couple of times a day rather than several times a day. But you could use that as a bit of a template to help you retain the focus if you needed to. Let's see what else we've got in here.
I'm going to pick a question to answer. So from Sarah, not having the time, so much going on in my life, waking up earlier, starting the day with yoga, not directly to work. That is amazing. Yeah. Thing is, time is something we all wish we had more of. But yeah, totally waking up earlier, as long as you are getting a good sleep, making sure that you feel fueled, so the time that you do have, you're laser focused, and definitely doing things that aren't just related to business. What happens when your personal life is turned upside down? It's not an easy thing to deal with at all, but at the same time, you have to be able to embrace moments like that and often just ask, what is it trying to teach you? So trying to see the experience as a learning experience, and as upsetting as it is, feel those emotions. Don't feel like you have to be this superwoman that doesn't cry, that doesn't embrace that, but ask yourself what you are learning from it, give yourself specific time to deal with that, but then knowing when it's time to put it aside and focus on yourself too. And I think that is really, really important, to be able to leave it at the right time and start focusing back on your other things. It doesn't mean that you need to let go of that feeling, but it does mean just being able to manage it a little bit better.
Yeah, and I'd add on to that, like, I'm a huge believer in things happen for a reason. Like, sometimes things can feel so crappy and horrible at the time, but, you know, a few months down the line, you look back and be like, do you know what? That was one of the best things that happened to me, because this and this happened. So although it's so hard sometimes, you'll be stronger for any challenges that come your way. And ultimately, that will help you grow as a person and help you help others. So I know it's really, really hard at the time, but try and hold on to that, you know, what doesn't, you build strength from these things. I hope that helps anyway, because it's not easy when stuff like that happens.
And just remember that we're all here for you as well.
Yeah, we're all here, and if you need us, reach out in the group. You know, I will say, guys, I'm guessing that most of you are in the Facebook group, but Natty and I have been so blown away by the amount of support that each other are giving. You know, you're all supporting each other so nicely. It's just such a nice atmosphere, and we really, really couldn't have hoped for better with that. We've been so chuffed. There's been, you know, no bitchiness or anything that you sometimes get in these groups. It's just so much love for each other in there, and it's been just amazing to see. So thank you to everyone who's participated in that, because it means a lot to us, and that's what we want to do. We want to create a really nice environment for women, you know, places where people can say, do you know what, I'm struggling, I need a hug, or I need someone to help me today. So that's super, super nice, but also like keeping the vibes positive and people building and, you know, bouncing ideas off each other is really, really great to see. If you want to join the Facebook group, there has been emails sent with the link, but if not, it's called the Society Socialites. So we can, Natty, can we put a link in here? Or
yeah,
yeah, Natty will put a link in a second if any of you aren't actually members yet, but it's there, and then we'll add you. We just need to check your emails.
Hopefully you've all got your goals written down now. What I would suggest is, when you get off this call, after you've amended them all, write them up really nicely and put them somewhere that you're going to see them every single day. Check in with them, make sure you're on track, making sure that you're making progress every single day, even if it's really small. You want to be working towards them. Learn to say no to anything that isn't directly getting you to them. And the one thing as well that I would just love you guys to do before we move on to a Q&A is just think about what your quote or affirmation will be for this month. So thinking about the kind of person that you need to be, thinking about the habits that you want to instill and the goals you want to achieve, think about an affirmation that you can say every single morning out loud when you wake up, that will make you feel energized and as if you can actually hit these goals. So I would love you to have a think about that and just write something down. My affirmation for last month, I'm still deciding on my one for this month, but my last affirmation for last month was, if she can do it, so can I. And so I often will look up to a lot of role models and women that just really, really inspire me. In any kind of moment where I'm having any self-doubt, I just look at someone that I just think is amazing, and I'm like, well, if she can do it, so can I. Because there's nothing that separates any of us. We're all so capable of achieving amazing things. And so to be able to look at someone else who has done what you would like to do, or is doing amazing things, and just say, if she can do it, I can do it too. And that is the best way to pick yourself up when you're down, in my opinion.
Totally. Alexis, just with your question there about struggling to plan days, and I don't have children, but I can appreciate we all have days where, we get emails in or something happens where it kind of gets turned on its head. And that's where I use a planner. So either the daily performance planner, which is in there, or I've seen people commenting on the best self planner. Get something where you can just have a couple of things that you need to get done a day. And it doesn't actually matter when they get done, as long as they get done the day. So you don't really get as frustrated about if your schedules aren't moving as you want them to. So again, plan Sunday, plan for each day, just so that you've got that and you can make progress through it each week. So don't worry so much on the day to day, but make sure you're making the progress in the week.
I would possibly lose the timings as well. So one thing that I do every single day when I'm planning, I actually don't put timings in unless I have meetings. But I will write my to-do list out. I'll normally do this on a Sunday, so I actually wrote my to-do list out for every single day yesterday. They'll change. You'll add things to them every single day, but I have a base. I know what my week looks like. And then every day when I sit down, I pick the 3 things that I need to achieve that day. And in my head, it's like, okay, if I get these 3 things done, then I am happy. If I get anything else done, it's a bonus. Now, I'm really competitive, so chances are I will try and tick everything off. But if I don't, it's just having that assurance that I've done something really, really good today in that progress. And I won't have that's 9 a.m., that's 10 a.m., that's 11 a.m. The only things that I stick to is meetings, because sometimes I'm in a mood where I'll get a cup of tea and I'm like just ready to race through all of the tasks that take like 5 to 10 minutes. And then other times I'm feeling like right after lunch and I'm feeling super focused and energized. I've just been for a walk. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to sit down for like an hour of pure focus. And so I'll tackle something that's really like hard and needs a lot of my time. And I'm just very forgiving with time. So if I have to run out or do anything, like if I have to come and catch back up at 7 p.m., as long as I'm doing it, that is fine. And I think just having that in your head and just being like, this happened, it's okay. Like accepting it, letting it go.
I'm just thinking, Natalie, it might be nice if we do a post on Sunday, like who's planned their week, just to kind of keep you all accountable, because actually it probably is one of the biggest things that I learn. And because I have multiple businesses, I have a lot going on. So planning on a Sunday has just been amazing for me, and it really helps me make sure I'm moving forwards and also keep a clear head, because my week never goes as planned. Let's face it, things come up that you weren't expecting, but having that rough plan, I know what I'm doing. And also means if I get any tiny bits of time, I can literally flick to the beginning of my sheet or my to-do list and go, right, I can tick that off. So I definitely say that Sundays, and hearing a lot of other successful women that I've spoken to, they tend to do that as well. It really prepares you for the week. So I think that might be a nice idea, Natalie.
Yeah, I would love to share something like that. I'll make sure I get it. Yeah. I'm going to write it on my flight. That's going on my to-do list. I'm flying today. I'll get it on my flight. So we have a few questions that have been sent in that I would love for us to answer. And then if you guys have any more questions after that, we can definitely go through them. But we're also available fully in the group. So I'm going to put them up now.
So I've got the questions here that were sent to me prior to coming on this call. So we'll just answer these first. So Sia asked, when did you two decide to quit your 9 to 5 and really go into your goals? Did you take a risk and just leave your regular jobs and dive right into your business? Or did you set a goal for yourself so that when your business generated a certain profit mark, you were comfortable enough to leave your day job? At what point is it wise to leave your day job? Natalie, do you want to go and answer that first?
Yeah, I'll answer that. So I'll start at the very beginning when I started my first company, Oh My Glow. So I started that right out of university, but so I got offered a very, very good corporate job, great sign-on bonus. It was very attractive, and half of me wanted to take this amazing job and then work on my business alongside of it. And I really realized that if I was going to do this properly, I needed to be all in. That was it. But I didn't have the luxury of having any financial support or anything like that. And I really needed to earn money. And so what I did was I started freelancing to earn the money that I needed. I set what I call a personal survival budget. Now there's some resources inside this site which talk about this, but a personal survival budget is what you need every month to survive. And that is your rent, food, gym, like all of these things, but none of the luxuries. And unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but when you're setting up a company, chances are you cannot afford the luxuries and you need to be okay with that. So I set my personal survival budget, and I was very like structured in the way that I would say, okay, I will do this amount of freelance work a month to make my personal survival budget, and after that I will stop, because after that you kind of get all consumed in making more money and doing more on this thing which is not your core goal. And so even though it took me 12 months to even start generating any revenue and having a product ready with Oh My Glow, that's how I had to focus. So I threw myself fully into it, had my freelance going along the side, because you have to have enough money to pay your bills and eat. Like it is not sensible to get rid of a job if you cannot do that, and then transition it. When you make that decision to go all in, you have to make that decision. So dip your toe in for a while, do what you need to do to make your personal survival budget. And as soon as you see that you're making money in your business, that you think, okay, this is enough for me to survive on, I'm ready to scale up, then you need to dive all in and give it everything you have. So that is my opinion on that.
Okay, so you answered that really well, so I'm just going to move on to the next one. Samantha from Cosmetic Box asked, I'm struggling with making a profit. My product is selling, but I never have enough money to buy more stock as my expenses seem to be very high. My products are not expensive, so I feel I cannot put the prices up higher as there is also a lot of competition. What are some ways to increase profit or ensure I am pricing my products correctly? Samantha, are you on this call? I'm just interested to know. But basically, I've seen a couple of questions asking about getting clients and essentially bringing more revenue. And for profit, there's two ways to increase your profit. Number one, you increase your revenue. So you bring in more money into your business. And that can be either through selling more product, raising your prices, making sure that what a lot of people don't do is they don't upsell. So making sure you've got some upsells. You can sell more, make sure you're doing either ads or affiliates or increasing your traffic to your website. You can repeated sales, like how are you following up with the people that have already bought from you. There's something called Pareto's principle, and it talks about the 80-20 rule. And 80% of your revenue can come from 20% of your customers. So anyone who's previously bought from you, no matter what product that is, you should always be talking to them and seeing if they want to buy more, because people buy from people that they know, they trust, and who has a reputation, okay? How many of us go to, chained restaurants or chained coffee shops? Yeah, it's really nice to have individual ones too, but a lot of buyers will go back to things that they know. So really bear that in mind. Think about your upsells. Like I said, if they bought something, what can you upsell it? If you've got products, is there something that complements the product? So could you be selling more products? Is it just one thing? Let's say someone's buying a mascara. Do they want an eyeshadow to go with that? Or let's say someone's buying, I don't know, a water bottle. Do they want some shake stuff to go in that? I don't know, but you've got to try and think about pairing and what else you could sell to them. And then the other sense of it is decreasing your costs. So if it's product based, like your distribution costs, your packaging costs, do they need to be assessed? If you've got a service based company, do you need to look at who's helping you, how many hours you're spending on that help and support? Really kind of look at your revenue, but then also your costs. That's the best way to grow profit. And that kind of applies to some of the ladies that have spoken about it higher up. I'm struggling with ideas on how to bring in new clients without spending an arm and a leg on ads, but also without spending so many hours sending cold messages to people or writing on Facebook groups. So are you asking for referrals from people that you've already worked with? That's another thing that's really important, referral schemes. We will do some training on Facebook advertising. I do think it is quite an important kind of, what's the word, Natalie, like an important skill to have, to make sure that you're harnessing that, and we will do a full training on that. But I want you to have a little brainstorm, like write down some notes about ideas that you could perhaps sell more or sell differently. Or if you've done the webinar, which will be put in the society over the next couple of days, that Natalie did, what is your value matrix? Have you got a ladder for people to buy from? If you wanted to sell a high ticket item, you need to have a step ladder up to that. You can't just expect to sell like a $2,000 item. Think about that value ladder and check out that training if you've not already done so. So I hope that helps anyway. What are the comments coming in, Natalie? Let's see.
There was just some comments on freelance, but none on that specific question.
Okay. Perfect. So we'll move on to another question, unless you've got anything you want to add.
I would maybe add, like asking if you're doing your cash flow forecasts and are you really on top of your finances as well. So this applies to a lot of the questions I was seeing coming in, but just making sure that you're really in control of what's going out and coming in every single month and you've prepared for the next 6 months, because letting go of your cash flow is one of the biggest mistakes. Never be daunted by the money in your business. You should always know on any given day what your financial snapshot looks like.
Totally. And yeah, like using like a software like QuickBooks or Xero to make sure that you do have a handle on that. Most businesses run into problems when they don't understand their cash flow. So in one of the workbooks I've just done, which will be put in the society at the end of the week, it says, what was your profit last month? Do you know that? Or are you hazarding a guess? Because if you don't know that, you're not in control of your finances, and that's really, really important. So just moving on to another question, keep this moving. This will be a good one for you, Natalie. What is the optimal way to conduct a soft launch of a product? Should one offer the entire offering or a fraction of the product? Any insights? And that is from Patricia.
So I am a very big fan when you're doing a soft launch of going very slowly. And so that's not just diving straight out there with your product, but building value in the beginning. So the way that we soft launched the society is we put an email funnel out there, and it was 5 ways that you could boost your revenue every single month. And so what we did for those 5 days was just delivered so much value and gave you a taster of what our product would be. And so you get to access some of the workbooks, you get to see the way me and Danielle work and think. And so as soon as we were ready to launch, we had all of them people on the list, and we said, look, you've seen what this challenge is like, you've seen what a taster of our product, the society, is like. Do you want to join? And so that was way more effective than just diving out there and saying, this is my product, buy it. I'm a big fan of just giving value first before you launch. So I would always work back from your launch. So give yourself a launch date, work back from starting to get people in your funnel. And this doesn't matter what kind of business you have, because funnels work the exact same way for my business or my glow, which is actual products, and for Boss Babe, which is advertising, the society, or Instagram. Like, we have tons of different products within our businesses, and this always works the same way. So get people in, give them a taster of your product. So it's kind of like your product splinter, which I did the training in the webinar, but it's your product. Break a little bit off it and package that for free, because then you know that the people that are opting into that are interested in your major product. So for us, it was how to make more passive income. Now, we knew that the people we want to attract to the society are people that want to make more money in a month, and they want to do this by scaling both passively and non-passively. So we took this tiny little chunk of what we're going to offer in the society and created a full mini product around that. So very much think about that, and don't be driven by this need to get profit straight away. Think about the long-term game. and yes, I will share that challenge in the resource section, the 5-day challenge. But yeah, I hope that helps. Always break it down and go into it value first.
Yeah, a nice quote I like to remember is the educated buyer buys. So the more you educate people that you are targeting or your potential customers, the more likely they are to buy. So give away. You can never over-educate someone. People get scared about giving too much away for free, but actually the more you give away for free, the more likely they are to buy.
I love that. I love that. And I did see a couple of posts on the site actually talking about that, of like someone saying like, I don't want to give too much away for free. How do I know what is too much? Now look, if you're as good as you say you are and you're an expert in your field, your brain doesn't have like a stop limit to it. It's only going to expand and expand and expand. So the more value that you give is literally just a taster into what value you have. So don't be so afraid of oversharing. I launched a course, Instagram Academy, over a year and a half ago now, and it was teaching people how to use Instagram. And so to launch that, I went on YouTube and I made 3 videos. One of them went completely viral, and I give away so much value about Instagram. Like the videos are still there. They're about 20 minutes long. And I talked about every single little thing that you could do to boost your following and engagement. And this was the biggest seller of my product. People didn't look at this and think, I know everything now. It's like, okay, she's just given me so much information in 20 minutes. What is she possibly going to give me over the course of 10 weeks? And so that's a really, really important thing. Don't just be so scared to give everything away, because if you're giving away your entire knowledge in 5 days or 20 minutes, then you're in the wrong business.
Yeah. I just seen some comments from Tasha and Tia. Looks like she's answered that pretty well. So thank you for that. I hope I've pronounced your name right, Tia. I agree with Tia and Tasha. Make sure everything's legal and you're certified first. And then you've got no doubt you can just push forward. Okay, let me see if I've got any other questions. Okay, I've got one from Emma Quinn. She asked how to get set up with shipping and deliveries without compromising profit margin. Are there any recommended frameworks to negotiate or contact people with? And she would like some advice on pricing or an algorithm. Is it best to go commission-based deal or outsourcing or do it herself?
I can answer that if you want.
Yeah, you've got the background in the products. That's good.
So you're not going to like my answer, but that is way too scientific of a way to think about shipping your product. So basically, the way that I would start is have your product or a range of your products, take them to the post office, get them weighed and get prices for every single product and every location that you plan to sell it. This is the most boring exercise, but it is very necessary. Then go online and look up if there's some online shipping providers. So I know it's different to the UK and the US. So here in the US, we have a few different ones. Still go to the post office and check online. In the UK, they have your post office, you have My Herms online. What you'll probably find is it's cheaper to ship some using one service if they're going international and they're above a certain size, and post office in person if they're going like local and they're of a certain size. So make a full spreadsheet of this and know. Then whatever kind of plugins that you're using on your website to assess shipping work with this. So one thing I will tell you is that people love free shipping, and typically they'll happily pay more for a product if they think they're getting the shipping for free. So think about whether you want to make your product price higher and offer free shipping. Then I would think about so say you have 3 products, one that's very easy to ship, one that's quite expensive, and one that's very expensive. It's very difficult for you to charge different amounts for every single product, because what if someone adds a small product and an expensive product to their cart? You can't just change their shipping based on that, and so you need to take a hit on some of your products. So you'll know, okay, I'm charging this amount. I'm actually charging way more than it costs to ship the smaller product, and I'm actually charging way less than it costs to ship the more expensive product and match that out. There is no specific algorithm. You just need to go down, get everything measured, ask a lot of questions. You can do a lot of things online, but you still would need to go in and ask all of the questions. Get someone that really knows what they're doing, and you can say, what if my product looked like this? What if it was like this? And just have that spreadsheet. Because until you're ready to go to a distribution center, which you'll have to have minimum order quantities for, you'll be doing everything at home. So yeah, spreadsheets. There's no algorithm. You just need to decide what will work best for your product and your pricing.
Good one, Natalie. I learned something then. Okay, so the next one is from Julitza. When did you know you were going somewhere with your business? I have a business, but I have not been very successful. Okay, so I'll answer this one. For me, you know if you're going somewhere with your business if you are managing to stick to your plan. And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make. They don't do a business plan. Now, a business plan doesn't have to be like 70 pages long or a huge document, but you have to have that idea of where you are going, what your vision is, what you want to achieve. And a lot of entrepreneurs make that mistake. They don't plan it, so therefore, or they don't know exactly where they're going. Therefore, they don't plan. Therefore, they don't break it down month by month. Therefore, they don't break it down week by week. And if you don't do that, you don't know how well you're doing. And you don't have expectations. So that's what I would say. Like, I knew my business was going places when I stuck to my plan. I was managing and surpassing my expectations. So as you heard earlier, Natalie and I both have challenged each other on our own goals within this group. And actually, we've kind of changed them. We've moved them up a gear to challenge us further. So that's when I really knew that things were going well. And obviously keeping a really good idea on my finances. I guess, so I like this analogy, right? Some people can be like, oh, you're too focused on money, etc. But a heart surgeon decides he's doing well by how many lives he saves, right? A businesswoman decides how successful they are by either how much money they're making or perhaps how many people they're helping as well. But there has to be this money element to it. So for me to class a business as successful, you need to know your finances because you need to know how much profit you're making. And it's okay if you don't make profit in the first 6 months to 8 months to 10 months to a year, if you forecast that. Look at Facebook. So, but you need to have that plan. You need to know what your aims are. You need to know what your KPIs are. Like, what are you aiming for? And that's how you'll know whether your business is successful. But you need that at the beginning. Else you're just going round and round in circles.
I love that answer, and I would add something to it as well. I would, when you're putting the plan together that Danielle's talking about, think about what product market fit looks like for you. So product market fit is when you know that your product fits in the market. There is a demand for it and people are willing to buy it. And so what does that look like for you? So say it was a tech company, a product market fit is people are signing up for an account, spending time on the platform, and are happy with it. They are actually using your product. Product market fit for me and Danielle was selling places on the society. We thought we had this amazing product, but it was all in our heads. That's what we thought. We'd done all the research. We did everything we could do. But in our plan, it was like, okay, a product market fit would look like this many signups. Then we know we've done a good job. Our conversion rates should be this percentage. We know we're on track. And product market fit really looks a lot different for everyone else, but definitely think about how that looks for you and get that in your plan.
Totally. I've got FZ005, whoever that is. How important is being thrifty? I barely break even each month, but I also enjoy spending. And you need to ask yourself what you're spending it on. Is that, are you just spending for the sake of it, or are you reinvesting in your business? There's a big difference with reinvesting and just spending. So if you're basically, I always like to say, I'm not necessarily spending, but I'm changing the form of my money. So if I'm buying something that's helping me progress my business and help it grow, then it's not really spending it, it's reinvesting it and merging it into something else. But if you're just spending it for, money's sake because it's there, then yes, you need to be thriftier. And Tori agree, without a plan, you can simply end up with a business you didn't really want. Yeah. And that's also, at the beginning when we spoke about listing the goals, decide on why you want it, but also what you don't want. Having goals is super, super important, but you also need to sometimes kind of sit down and say, look, these are what I want to achieve, but this is what I don't want to achieve. I don't want to end up with this. And knowing that can really help you set some boundaries around working as well.
If you're spending on like personal items, say you're making a lot of money, but you're also taking that out on payroll. So one thing I did in the beginning where I didn't have the money to just spend on anything I wanted, I would reward myself for hitting certain goals because I knew that was hitting profit. So say I made 100 sales, I knew that would make me a really good profit and I could afford to take X out. So I would say, okay, hit this goal and you can go buy a YSL or a Chanel bag or something that would motivate me, because you know, we all deserve rewards and there's absolutely no shame in that, but it's all about spending wisely and not living beyond your means, because if you're constantly doing that, then it's really going to come back and bite you. And one thing I will just add to that is, please never spend your money before you pay taxes on it, because that will come and bite you in the bum straight away. Put your tax money aside. That is not spending money. That is not fun money. Put it aside.
Totally. Okay, so we've probably got another 5 minutes left, guys. So we'll just try and answer a couple of these last questions. What is the best way to get clients? I have a website but need to get in front of people. Social media, Hannah, really good free way to get clients. Video content is rated really high on Facebook at the moment. Instagram, you've got IG stories. Just if you want some inspiration, make sure you're following the Boss Babe account. Natalie's pretty good at that, hey? New blogger, and I understand it's good for me to start building an email list. I don't really have anything to share on my list yet besides new blog posts. What is the best way to start building a contact list at this stage? Oh my God, Justine, you are going to love next month. We have got someone amazing coming in who's going to help you build your list to email list to 1,000 in 30 days is the aim. She is phenomenal, and she's going to be doing a massive training with you guys, broken down loads of bite-sized pieces. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to help you so much. She's going to give away loads of tips.
It's funny because I honestly think that I'm like a list building pro. Like I've been doing it for so long. And then I had a chat with, we all had a chat with Daniela, who's going to be creating it for us. And the information she had blew my mind. I was like, I did not even, if I didn't not have that knowledge, if I had that knowledge, I could have had a list 10 times as big as this. So you're going to love it. I have a question from Emma. Natalie, did you start as a sole trader or did you open a business account straight away? I was selling a food product, so liability was really important to me, but I always set up limited liability companies. That was just really, really important for me. I wanted the business to be a separate entity, so I did all of that from the beginning.
Emma, I didn't know. I started as a sole trader and then moved to a limited company after 1 year. But obviously I wasn't selling a product at that point, so it's best to go with Natalie on that one. I just saw a good question. Oh, can you share what type of video content we should share, or business related or personal info as well? I always think like it depends what kind of business you're in, but educating content is really good. Unless you can make something go viral, I think educating content does really well. Natalie, what else would you add to that?
I just say it all the time, but lead with value. Like, what do you have that no one else has, and how can you get yourself to stand out in that? I think if you're wanting to make sales and use social for business, then you need to be seen as a thought leader. And to have that, you need to be very, very competent and good at what you do and be able to demonstrate that really well. So build with value, always lead with value.
Annie, I've just read your comment. You're so welcome. I'm really glad that this session has helped you gain some clarity. Yeah, don't get bogged down with all the little details. Just start and commit to a certain start point and go from there. Do your monthly goals this month, and we can check in next month with how you've gotten on and adjust them if we need to. Natalie, there's one here from you from Ashley about All My Glow business.
Do you have any tips you've learned from funding inventory for that business, or how to plan for growth in a physical inventory business? Did you self-finance, use credit? In the beginning, I self-financed to make as much as I possibly could, but I sold that and used the money that came in to buy more. There was delays between what I could buy and sell in the beginning because it was just me in my kitchen. Once I scaled to a factory, it became a bit more legit, so I was still having to make enough sales to then pay the factory. I had to always pay up front, which meant that I wasn't really taking a wage for a long time in the business. Then once I'd worked with them, I was able to get some payment terms of 30 days. So they could ship the product to me and then I'd have 30 days to pay. So I would just have to work as hard as I could to sell it until I got an order from Boots, and this was to supply stock in over 230 stores. And I was still quite a small company, and you can imagine the hundreds of thousands of pounds that cost me to supply. And in which case I went to factoring, which is invoice financing. So basically I created this invoice that I had for my retail store for hundreds of thousands of pounds, and I went to an invoice factoring company and I said to them, this is the amount of money that I'm going to be getting from this company. This is what it's costing me. So these are my profit margins, but I need you to loan me the money for 90 days because my factory needs payment after 30 days, but the retail company won't pay me for 90 days. So that was all about knowing my cash flow. I knew I would have 60 days of being minus in my bank account with obviously no overdraft for the business of what I needed to cover. And then what they did is they supplied me the money so I could pay my supplier, so that I would last up until I got paid by the retail contract, and then you pay them back. You pay a small percentage on that, but the good thing about doing it is once you do that first massive contract and you have all of that money in the bank, you then have that money to spend on future orders. So it's all about your cash flow and really, really planning that out with your stock.
Totally. Karen's just asked about, because I have multiple businesses, how, if at all, do you incorporate each with the other, or do you market and push them all separately? I actually do mine separately because they're completely different. So I don't run the social media for one of my companies, and I just support Natalie with the Boss Babe social media. So she mainly runs that. So I would recommend outsourcing if you possibly can, or get someone on your team. If you're overlooking a few businesses, Karen, it's important that you delegate. When you've got multiple businesses, it's so, so important that you learn to delegate and direct. This is one of the biggest learning curves for me, and that's how I managed to juggle it. So yes, you do need them separately, and I'd suggest that you either find someone on your team to run it, or you outsource, but you oversee it. Do you use automation services to grow your Instagram?
No, never do that. Never, ever, ever do that. You should never use an automation service. And if you do, Instagram will find out and they will punish your account for doing so. Please never use that to grow. If you're interested in social media building tips, I will definitely be putting some information in the society. But my answer to automation is a big, big no. I think that's kind of time now. I'm going to make sure that we get this recording up into the society. I would love for you to take some pictures of your goal boards, make sure you share them in the society. Let's support each other with this and really hold each other accountable. Get those habits reminders set up on your phone. And we'll be back to chat with you again in a couple of weeks for a full Q&A session where we'll have longer just to focus on Q&A. But thank you guys so much for showing up. I know this wasn't a lot of time to prep for this session, just as we've just opened doors and we're still not even closed, but in future you will always have a month's notice of the times. But yeah, thank you so much, and for everything that you guys are doing in the community group as well. It means the world to me and Danielle. We are just so happy to be part of this girl gang.
Yeah, it's been an amazing week so far, guys. So really enjoying. We hope you're enjoying it too. And yeah, just be afraid, don't be afraid to reach out to us if you need anything. We'll always try best. Obviously, we've got a lot on our plate, but we really do listen to all your feedback. So just let us know. With regards to the session in, I think it's a couple of weeks or 10 days time, make sure, well, as much as you can, do some of the training within the How to Master the Elements of Success. There is a little quiz for you to take before you get stuck in, which will give you some direction on which videos to watch. And a little FYI, you don't have to keep answering the survey. You can just click the button at the bottom and it'll take you through once you've already done it. But if you can listen to some of those, complete the workbooks if you like, that'll help you for the next Q&A session, and you can ask us any questions on that, and you can submit your questions before, or you can just come on live and ask us too. But I'm really glad you've enjoyed the session. It's really nice getting so much lovely feedback. So thank you for that. And we'll see you around in the groups anyway and on live chat. We'll be in there. But give us some love. And obviously we close on Thursday. So if anybody you know that you think would benefit from this community, then don't be afraid to tag them in some posts on Boss Babe. or just send them a link to sign up, because we're really, really passionate about making the best community that we can be, and best around. We're not competitive at all, are we, Natalie?
Yeah, not at all. Okay, see you later.
Take care, everyone.